This just in. Local man found scouring a forest for small children. No, not that one. Yep, that one.
This week's episode of Nonsense, or Goodness, depending on how you're feeling.
I think this week on, we called it. We always called that this episode was always going to be a flashback episode,
And it was
right?
always a bad idea.
Yeah.
There's no good reason to cut away from our climax to just go back to the very beginning. My main problem with this episode is, what did we learn that we didn't already know? So from the other episodes, we had thought, yes, the Jedi did something bad, and May probably isn't to blame for the murders. But
Not wholly.
yeah, like May started a fire, but they took Osha. What did we learn that was different to that?
Everybody just accurately guessed what would have happened.
Because it's the most obvious thing.
It's the most obvious thing. They really told this story already through like small tidbits through the other episodes.
Yeah.
They're kind of doing a disservice to themselves by doing this. I mean, I understand like it's like the duality of the episode. You see it now from the Jedi side, but it's like you're ruining your own storytelling because the story that you've told and that we have to piece together, you're now just like giving to us.
Yes, what they left out of episode 3 and they gave us in this flashback wasn't really anything that no one else saw. Like when you do a point of view perspective episode, like The Witcher tried to do it, where it's a party is going on and you get to see that party from each person's individual perspective. And the way it's supposed to work, things get recontextualized and you don't know what happened before, but now you actually get to find out. Whereas here, it's just like they left out bits they thought would add to the mystery. So it wasn't even really a mystery. It was, we didn't show you certain things so that you would be asking, what happened there?
I think the only thing that we got was just finding out about Master Torbjorn's incel rage in his younger years.
God, he's such a fucking incel.
He's like, I have cum coming out of my eyes. Please take me back to Coruscant with the bots.
Why the fuck did he want to go back to Coruscant? He's just homesick.
He's young. He didn't join this religion to
Travel
be
the
bored.
galaxy. So he's mad at traveling the galaxy because he's a Jedi, whereas Osha wants to become a Jedi to travel the galaxy.
Torbjorn's like, you're really in for it, huh?
I did not sign up for this.
7 weeks at space camp.
7 weeks isn't even like. In fairness, he didn't actually sign up for this because he was kidnapped as a child to become a Jedi.
Yeah.
So there's slight humor in that. But just the way they present him as, yes, a giant incel that just wants to go home. Why is home different? He hangs out with Master Indara all the time.
Yeah.
He's a Jedi Padawan. He doesn't have a life. He literally trains with...
It's the mission. Your life is the mission.
He's probably never on Coruscant. He's probably been constantly doing whatever Indara has so that he can learn the ropes.
I guess he just probably like misses his friends, like from the academy and stuff. Well, she says it's anxiety.
Well, does he have friends? Because we see Jackie in previous episodes in a classroom full of people learning how to swing a stick around. She never talks to any of them. She talks to Osha and seems to have a connection with Osha.
Well, the kids are just set dressing. There's only actually like 3 or 4 Jedi.
Some of them
whole...
are actually just CGI people.
Correct.
Extras are expensive.
Hologrammed
We only have $180 million. We have to digitally replicate people
Correct.
instead.
All those diverse children.
But you didn't answer my question. What did we even learn? What did we learn? We learned the incel rage.
We learned incel rage.
We learned that Sol didn't run from one end of the room to only just grab Osha in time.
Yes.
Like they showed us.
He had to make a choice.
He was holding 2 bridges up instead and decided because he had a connection with Osha in a very, very creepy way, he had to drop May to save Osha because holding bridges is hard. Turns out holding kids is less hard though. Like what's a 10-year-old kid weigh? I don't know. I don't hang out with many 10-year-old kids, unlike some people.
I'm going to say 25 kilos.
25 kilos each? That seems reasonable. Yes, like if you can grab onto these 2 things, you can grab onto these 2 children. With the force. You can force yourself.
You can force yourself.
So you can lift these children up using your Jedi mind powers.
What if he isn't a very strong force user? What if he's more in a combat, lightsaber combat, or a mind reading type?
Then he shouldn't be allowed to become a Jedi Master.
He is a Jedi Master.
They show Kelnaka lifting 2 people with the Force. It's not like they've shown that you can't lift people with the Force. It's that he, in that specific moment, thought, I will lift up these 2 heavy bridges instead of these 2 light children. Lets one of them die. So that's the realization, that Sol let May die.
Yep.
And the other big thing that Sol did was Sol killed Mistress Anasea? Witchmaster Anasea?
Yeah, he killed Black Mama.
But why did he kill him?
Well, Mother Anasea gets in between Sol and Torbjorn and the Zebrak lady between their fight. and then she kind of dissipates into a big subscribe button.
You should hit that thing.
Hit that thing
You gotta
on that subscribe thing. She was turning into nanobots.
She was turning into the smoke monster from Lost.
But May was also turning into smoke machine bots. So what I think that was, they said that May and Osha are splitting of the same consciousness.
Yes.
Technically, because they were created. I think that they came from Anastasia, and then Anastasia split them.
You're saying Anastasia cloned herself and split it into two people?
Yeah, like a Jurassic Park dinosaur.
And put it inside of Darth...
Russian Zebrak lady.
Yeah.
I think what was happening in my mind canon is she was either just apparating somewhere, Harry Potter style, or she was going to suck Osha back into her.
Oh.
Yes.
To protect her? Why? Because May runs out.
And Sol says, Osha.
Racist. So Sol and Torben break into this complex to rescue these children.
They scale a mountain.
To rescue these children from this cult because they have decided that the cult is dangerous. Mm-hmm. Even though they've seen nothing like that. This man is just like, a bunch of women? Hell no, we ain't be allowing that.
There's subtle context clues that people mention.
The galaxy doesn't like women like us?
Maybe. Someone said the word sacrifice to him and he was like, sacrifice?
But he was already willing to break into this place to follow these children because he thought they were in danger before that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Torben and Sol scale Mount Doom to climb in, and basically Torben wants to get these kids off these witches so that he can go home. So he's ready to fight Zabrak woman while he's getting aimed at by a bunch of bows. And then Sol says, no, don't do that. And then Zabrak and Torben are like, we're going to fight. Then May runs out and goes, Mama. And Anastasia's reaction to that is to burst into smoke.
Well, she screams, no. She's like, no.
And Sol's reaction to a woman bursting into smoke, honestly, it's the most fair reaction anyone's
If
ever
I could do it, I would.
If someone burst into smoke in front of me and I had a lightsaber...
I'm sick of my wife bursting into smoke around me. That witch.
Yeah, so then Sol stabs her in the chest, and then because she's not completely smoke at this point, she dies. And like you said, May was also half bursting into smoke, and I guess Sol thought that that was bad.
I think he thought that it was Osha and that the mum was taking her away. Like they were just going to disapparate somewhere.
What is this man's obsession with Osha?
I don't know. That was like another big part of the episode, or something they thought was big. Tell me how you feel about each scene. The Jedi are now collecting plant samples to see how much force is in the planet. How do you feel about that?
That's the reason. So in episode 3, they say that, we didn't know there were any witches here. And we're like, are you lying?
Yeah.
Turns out, no, there's nothing interesting there. They weren't lying. They were literally picking up plants, putting it in a blender and being like, how many midichlorians are in this plant? Because,
for 7 weeks.
Because in the worst dialogue ever, Trinity says to Torben, someone that would know this because it's their whole mission, 100 years ago, me and my brother Sokka discovered an airbender named Aang. No, there was a hyperspace incident and everything was blown up, but this planet's thriving. And it's like he's sitting there and he's just like, but I just want to go home.
I want to play my holo games.
You can play your holo games when we get back to their ship. Also, they have a camp and they have a ship. So it's like, this camp is literally just like 4 logs and a fake fire.
And a roast chicken.
And a Wookiee eating a chicken.
I would not insult a Wookiee's cooking. Wouldn't him getting insulted over cooking destroy the whole purpose of becoming a Jedi Master and being in control of your emotions?
Yes. But no, he's not in his emotions because he gets mind banged later on.
No, it's cultural.
I can give him the getting mind raped by a bunch of witches because there was a bunch of witches and it's like, that's more fair game.
They need to split up for some reason because they haven't finished mapping out the whole forest. So Sol goes and does like the north sector of it.
In bad CGI. How are the speeders looking worse than they do in the movie?
Especially the shot of Torben jumping on the speeder and zooming off is literally just like, as soon as he jumps on, it's just like JPEG of him sliding off screen.
I'll make you go.
I don't have to move, it just move me.
You put in more work than they did. Yeah.
So Sol stumbles upon the girls in the Bontu tree.
So Sol's sneaking around the woods. And it's really creepy because in the distance, he just sees these 2 subscribe buttons and he goes over and just starts hitting one of them and he's ringing the subscribe button. You should try it. Yep. And sees them use the Force immediately, which is super convenient, but fine.
And sudden Zebrak from behind a tree. You get that part?
Yeah.
It's just like watching. And then she's like, hello there.
Whoop. The only way that could happen if she literally stood.
She was walking perfectly down behind the tree.
Ridiculous.
She's like, girls, hello there. What are you doing?
because he watched these people use the Force, he
very
doesn't
true.
even go back to Trinity. He literally sneaks into their base immediately.
He does follow them.
He follows them
He
all the way
spends
back
like a
to their
day
house.
stalking them.
And then the platform, because he can't slice it himself. I love that. I'm going to try to find us being like, what the hell is slicing the platform?
The Jedis have cut the bridge.
They've sliced the platform.
Oh, that one. No, sliced the...
Slice the...
Like, what does that mean?
The platform.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's a space thing. You wouldn't get it.
Torben literally has the line.
It's some type of elevator platform.
And Dara's like, slice it. Hilarious. And he can't get through their front door. So instead of like ringing the doorbell and being like, wow, that's pretty crazy, guys, he scales Mount Doom.
Literally, he spends an entire day just scaling a mountain and like jumping from rooftop to rooftop, spying on these.
And yes, sneaking
these
around their
people.
thing. And we get the recontextualized moment. We thought the moment in episode 3 where the Zabrak looks out into the power generator was because something was like someone had f***ed with something. And we're like, oh, that's why there's the big explosion later. No, Sol just made a noise while sneaking
was
around.
just on an eve and just like...
He was just playing Splinter Cell alone, Assassin's Creed, and that's why. It was funny to watch because we were like, oh my god, it was that.
Yeah.
But that was because we had made so much fun of it for the last 4 weeks. Because it was like, what could have made her look out there? No, it's literally just a creaky bridge. Next.
Indara wants to consult the council before doing anything further.
One thing I will say about Indara is they play her much kinder in this episode, which is really strange.
I thought she was meaner.
No, I think in episode 3, she's much blunter, and she's like, she has an entire conversation with May where it was cut out of episode 3 because Osha wasn't there. But Indara to May is like, oh my god, that's such a beautiful tattoo you have. Like, that, do you want to be a witch? Like, tell me about your culture.
Yeah.
Because women got to be kind.
Nurturing.
She was stupid. She was 3 stupid dumb men.
Except
with
for when
incel
she was
rage.
talking to Sol, because Sol's like, oh my god, there's a bunch of space witches. I think I want to take one of them as my Padawan. And she's like, whoa, Buster Brown. Let's just hold on a little bit here. This is a child of a strange alien
She's also
space
above
coven.
the age that we're allowed to kidnap kids.
Yes.
Like, she doesn't berate him, I guess, about it, but she's like, you're forming a weird emotional attachment to this kid. Maybe we should back off. It just doesn't blend with later on where she's like, we have to lie to the council because they didn't actually cause any problems. Like, they could have skewed it a bit differently.
Well,
but
they did
we'll get
because
to it.
Sol's a creep and he wants to...
Yeah.
And she was like, that's why I have a Padawan and you don't. Anyway, so after that, you see like the scene from episode 3. They slice the bridge. They go and they ask to see the girls. You kind of see how the Space Witch's mind control works, where it's just like they invade your mental palace and like give you your utmost desires.
The way we thought this episode was going to play out was episode 3 was Osha's side of the story. We thought we were going to get May's side of the story, but instead we kind of got Sol's / everyone else's because we got to see inside of Torben's head. So we saw a lot of stuff that no one else got to see.
Yeah.
Torben's incel rage lets his mind lay open to witches. And she plays off literally that he wants to go home. And she's like, hey, I'd let you go home.
I can help you.
Me and the dark side.
I can fix that. Put in the clip from the movie Holes. I can fix that.
Let us take over your mind and I'll let you go home.
We see May's Jedi test and Trinity
didn't
kind
see
of
May's
trying to
Jedi
find
test
out
in the
about her.
original.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just see Osha like being inquisitive outside. Sol really, really wants Osha to pass, so he fudges.
Really wants this kid.
Really, I really want this kid. Please, can I keep her?
He bribes her by giving her the lightsaber in episode 3, but this time he's like, so many kids.
There's
I've got
so
so
many
many kids.
So many kids. You're gonna love it.
I'm pretty sure that's what the man in the van outside my school once told me. He was
I
like,
got lots of kids in here.
I'll take, me and these kids and the free candy.
And I got a lightsaber.
Lightsabers,
How
candy,
many-
kids.
I got plenty of spice creams back here. Yeah, they go to a camp and they're arguing over Sol's.
Over whether Sol can take this kid or not.
Yeah.
It's weird as well, because he never says, I need to get these girls away. It's I need to
just
kidnap Osha. I need to kidnap Osha. I have a
He
connection
has a
with Osha.
fascination with Osha.
This all happens before he even actually talks to her, because he talks to May first, and he's still obsessed with Osha while talking to May, and he's just seen them from a distance as well.
He only really had like a connection with Osha when she came up to him and was like, I like your lightsaber.
How does it feel?
They don't repeat everything, thankfully. I was really worried they were just going to straight up just replay the whole episode to stretch it to 44 minutes.
But we get at space camp. Indira comes in because she was waiting for the council's decision, and she goes, nope, sorry, they're too old. The council don't want them. We gotta just keep on keeping on here. Well, while Indara and Sol are fighting, Torben's like, wait, their blood results have come back.
In episode 1, Qui-Gon uses the Gillette razor to literally take Anakin's blood, pop it on it, and it sends it to Obi-Wan, and he's like, hey, Obi-Wan, what's it say? And he's like, these midichlorians are off the charts. But here, they
Full
take the
panel
blood,
blood work.
and then like nighttime, like most of a day later, he's like, bleep bloop, I have the answers now. Turns out,
Oh my god, conveniently these have come through.
they're symbiote, or they're Sybian.
They're like
the sex thing.
They're genetically the same person.
Yes, and he
said
no.
even twins wouldn't have this similarity of a genetic splicing.
But those fucking cowards still don't have the bravery to say the word midichlorians. Goddamn Bad Batch kept saying M count.
Oh,
And now
really?
this show won't even say it. Fucking say midichlorians.
I love in any type of science or doctor show to show that something similar, having them both side by side and
and
then
they come
having them
together?
go over each other. I was like,
There's a button for that in every
yes.
software. It's overlay.
Overlay, and it's just 3 bars that shows like force sensitivity in
It's
3
like,
bars. Like, interesting.
It's a puzzle mini game where you have to match 2 things and it puts them together. It goes doo doo, and then like no, that didn't work. Then you go try 2
That's
others.
Spider-Man 2. It's Spider-Man 2.
It is.
Gene sequencing. But then Torbjorn's like, oh my god, this is my proof. Rather than just sending the proof.
The reason they're on the planet is to find the virgins.
The virgins.
And he's like, oh, this is the virgins.
These
if
are
I
the virgins.
kidnap these 2 little girls, I get to go home to Coruscant.
And I'll be a hero.
That's his whole brain.
No one stops him.
But Soul goes after him to stop him. So like they're like, no, wait, come back. And then Soul does actually leave to go stop him. But then they both get there and then they check the platform and it can no longer be sliced because May has broken it.
They locked the door.
Because the female Zabrakian was like, May, if you don't want your kid to leave,
Oh, yeah, that
break
was
their
it.
shit. So they can't get in.
Also, more child horrible acting, by the way.
Oh, so
throughout
bad.
all of this.
So bad.
Do you want your sister to leave? Mm-mm. Then don't let her leave.
And then she uses the Force and she's like holding her mum back. Yeah, she does the whole thread,
More earthbending.
thread thing.
More Avatar: The Last Airbender.
But the bad one.
But the bad one. So they climb Mount Doom again.
They climb. Soul is like, come with me.
Shield your mind.
Even though Soul went there to stop him, he's like, oh no, they're locked in their own house. They close the doors at night. Even though we broke in last time and now we can't break in anymore.
Even though we can just wait and we have a spaceship, we can just fly in the top. I think he's worried that they're going to sacrifice them.
But imagine if I went to your house, right? Your door was locked, so I broke in. And then I came back the next night and you had doubled the security and I still couldn't get in. And I was like, Marco's in trouble. So then I climb into your
climb into my
roof.
roof.
I go in through the fucking chimney. Like, what is going on?
And my wife had just locked the doors. She's like, fuck, I'm not going to make sure this guy doesn't take my boyfriend.
It's like, and I'm like, I have an emotional connection with your husband.
I need your husband. He's my Padawan.
I need him.
I need him. I want to make a
I
YouTube
need
channel.
him.
You took him from me.
This show's so fucking stupid.
But anyway, we get...
No, on the way in, sorry.
Oh.
On the way in, Soul is like, don't let them take over your mind again.
Sol does say it to Torb at the bottom of the mountain.
It's not till they're in there that she says, you shouldn't have brought him.
But my mind, it's shielded.
It's fortified.
It's fortified.
Because
Not
remember,
you.
we had his eyes closed earlier. So yeah, now instead of the Padawan being taken over, which is a lot more feasible because Padawan, I guess he fortified. So now the Wookiee gets taken
Now
over.
this Jedi Master that knew about mind control powers in this Coven of Witches.
But he a big monkey.
Oh, true. And also every single witch on the planet apparently was combined
In a
to
little
control him.
circle.
Yes. That's why they were all dead in a circle. Get it?
Cut back to us asking, why are they in a circle? But that's how not dead they all looked. Because
Yeah.
they're all like lying next to each other in like a clump of like 10. So it's like they're all having a little gathering. And then someone yelled like, red light. And then they all had to fake death or something.
Yeah, you don't even see like people crying over some people's dead bodies and stuff.
No
or
rubble. It's
People
not like
being
the
like
ceiling caved in.
and dying or people running around. Everyone's just already dead.
Instantly dead.
Indara killed them all with her brain magic.
By breaking their control on another guy, Indara killed all of them.
Do you know what we should have seen? If they had maybe more time, because I feel like the end there was like very
It's so
quickly
rushed.
put together. Yeah,
We spend like 20 minutes
we
of
should have
just Soul
seen. We should have gotten
stalking.
like a 5-minute scene of when Indara jumped on Wookiee to go into his mental palace. She should have projected herself into his head, and like with Torb, when Torb was seeing Mummy around, she should have been killing them all.
We get the Matrix, so then it's a bunch of women fighting Indara, and Indara is kicking the shit out
And
of
as-
everyone.
as she's killing
and she
them-
can't use her lightsaber because
Yes.
she's in the mind
Kung
palace.
Fu. tying it all back.
We just made the kung fu make sense.
And then we see all the women slowly dying in like order
But
of when
still
she's killing them
in a crowd.
instead of just she's holding his brain, and then they all just go. And old witch McWinkle face just like turns into a puddle of wrinkles.
That old fucking crone.
I was like, oh no, they're gonna give her lines. Like they didn't.
No, they gave plenty of lines.
Regardless of what they're trying to prove with this show, Trinity did kind of prove that the power of one was better than the power of many. We touched on it a bit, but we stopped just before they have Wookiee fight, which is actually probably the best part of this episode. Because we just get to see like this overwhelming force of Wookiee.
And it's the thing we were promised, and it makes more sense, as in the bad choreography makes sense, because Sol gets like knocked to one side and then doesn't join in the fight for another minute or something because he's waiting.
I
off
remember
to
you
the
going
side.
like, "What's Sol doing right now?" And then like 5 seconds later, Wookiee just turns around and Sol's just like, "Hello."
You had a semi-good reason, which was that they don't want to kill him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I guess. But also, he knows Kung Fu. That might not work on a Wookiee, but you still wouldn't stand off to the side, right? Like, it's just very bad choreography to just like fight one person at a time while the other person waits behind.
Yeah, at least just overpower him like with your lightsabers.
Yeah, knock
or
him out.
something.
Like the way, even the prequels got around it by almost every fight they got into. Like Count Dooku in episode 2, Obi-Wan immediately gets cut in the leg and like thrown to the side, and then Anakin comes in for the single fight. 3, where he pushes him ages away and he gets locked under. Like they debilitate one of them so that they can single fight. And even in Phantom Menace, when it's Qui-Gon and Darth Maul are fighting, and Obi-Wan's trapped behind ray shields, or Obi-Wan has just fallen off those like 20 stories of buildings and has to like find another way to get to him. Like there's ways around it. If you want your one-on-one fight, or if it's too hard to have a really long sequence, make the other person have something to do. Don't just make them stand off to the side or disappear. Like there's things you can do. What we didn't touch on was that after Sol stabs Anastasia through the chest, Zabrak doesn't react immediately.
yes,
She's just like stands there for a minute, not like
we have to
in
wait for
shock or
her to
anything.
like grab onto Sol and be like, "Come closer."
Yes, let me
She
monologue
was
at
gonna
you.
choose you instead of like
I was gonna let her go.
I was gonna let her go.
Anastasia letting her go doesn't make any sense because in episode 3, everything we'd seen, again, recontextualization. But what they show in episode 3 is her saying, "You're a child. You don't get to make decisions like that," which is the correct way to parent.
Correct.
Oh, is it a trans thing? Is it your child will know their identity and you have to let them do it?
Society, the rest of the coven, is going to say what's right for your child.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a trans allegory.
This could be deep.
That is what that feels like to me. You're right. The society, the Coven of Witches, wants to tell Mother Anastasia what to do with her own child. But instead, Anastasia does the right thing and lets her child choose what she wants to do, even though she's a child and shouldn't probably be making life-changing decisions like leaving the Coven
And her mum and
her church.
everything she's ever known.
The more I think about it, the more I am now convincing
Like
myself
when I'm
that,
thinking about like some of the writing that we've seen previously,
and the fact that everyone's an activist behind
it's
this
like
show.
this could have a double meaning.
So there's a Zabrak woman doesn't go to Sol after the stab. You go, what the hell? And then stab Sol. They let them do the little secret whisper monologue, and then she goes, May, run. We didn't touch on the May and Osha drama. We've barely talked. This whole flashback is meant to recontextualize May and Osha, and we've barely talked about them in this whole thing.
It's Sol. Sol's the second main character of this show.
He's the choice. So basically, everyone thought that, it's going to be the Jedi burnt down the Witches' Coven. Oh, I guess they're the evil guys. No, May did it.
Yeah.
The stone really is flammable.
We see that the fire short circuits the door control, which short circuits another
which
electrical
makes
panel.
more electrical fires.
Yeah.
That's not how electrical fires work. That's
She
not
held
how
up those
stone
twin
works.
flames. Twin flames.
Twin flames. The power of two.
We should have seen definitely more of what molded May into being a...
I was thinking after everyone dies, when she wakes up by the Bunta tree.
would've
I
been
wanted
good
to
as
see
well.
from then onwards.
Yeah.
Give me a whole episode of this child trying to make her way
We
in the
still don't
galaxy.
get an explanation of how she ended up at the Bunta tree.
Yes.
Unless they're just going to say like, she obviously
she turned into
away.
smoke.
She turned into smoke.
Yeah. You're right. She turned to smoke. Yeah, so then where does the Zabrak woman go, actually?
Sol fights her and then she goes...
And then she turns to smoke. Yep, the Zabrakian turns to smoke. So all of the dead bodies we see in episode 3 that we're making fun of, why they all... How we're saying they played dead, they actually did. They all just fell asleep and died
they all just like slumped over It was so interesting.
Which means Indara did kill all her family, but May wouldn't know that.
As far as May does know, the only bad stuff that happens is she saw her mum get stabbed.
By Sol.
And she doesn't even know that Sol chose Osha. She just thinks the bridge fell.
The only thing that she knows is that, yes, Sol killed her mum. The other three Jedi did nothing.
But she would probably assume, being a child, that if she saw them kill the mum, that they probably killed everyone else.
But wouldn't you go for Sol first? Or like work your way up to Sol if he's like the leader? It's like Kill Bill. You got to work your way up, which they based it on, Kill Bill and Frozen. You have to work your way up the ranks. Like, you have to kill this person and go, where's the next person? Which they say she does, but none of the people reveal where the next person is. Yes. So it's not like she's holding a thing to Indara.
Well,
and
we don't know
Indara's
how she finds
Kalnaka,
Indara. Yeah.
He's on the planet. And she's like, haha, I'm going to kill you anyway, bitch. Mm-hmm. It's literally, she kills this chick, and then she finds out for some other reason where Kalnaka is, even though she knows where Sol is from episode 2, tries to kill him, but then just leaves, but then still knows where he is and never tries to kill him. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the weirdest part, because he's the only one he should really have beef with. But let's go through them. So Indara doesn't kill herself. She's not even in exile, really, is she? She's just on that planet having a drink.
At a bar somewhere.
So her conscience is seemingly clear, despite killing all of those
witches. Because she's
witches.
like twisted. She's corrupted.
But
lies to the council, or is easy to lie to the council. She's fine with it.
I guess she says, yeah, let's lie to them at the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. But it's to cover Sol's ass more than hers. Or like, I don't know. It's shaky at best. Torben kills himself because he had incel rage, went to take a kid, didn't take any kids, fought with his friend, got a scar on his face.
He's like the first, he feels guilty because he's the first domino. That he feels like if he never went, then it never would have happened. But even still, the whole place would have blown up.
All that May stuff happened, setting the building on fire, happened after they arrived. And if that fire got that big by the time May ran downstairs, the ladies were not stopping this. It was happening
like one-to-one with when they got there.
Yeah, they were not stopping that explosion. Kalnaka exiled himself. I understand Kalnaka's exile because
he fought his friends.
Yes, and he had his mind taken over by a bunch of witches. Like, that's going to mess with you. So he's like, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm just going to go hang out on this planet and be a hermit. His is the one I can understand the most. I guess Sol's a dick, because Sol is probably the most...
He should have the most guilt. He should have Torben's story.
Yes, but then you couldn't have Sol doing anything. So they couldn't give him the meditate for a million years story. We still don't know why Osha left the Order, and I feel like Sol wouldn't...
I failed my test.
Sol wouldn't let her leave the Order, surely, because...
Because of his, now what we see is like a controlling weird, he'll do anything to have her.
And also, why was Osha allowed to join the Jedi?
Because of the metachlorian count. She had to at that point.
Oh, wait, I guess they found out about those separately. Yeah. Weird that the Jedi Council was like, I mean, pending results, no, but...
Yes.
Because like the reason they didn't even really accept Anakin. Obi-Wan was like, Qui-Gon literally died for this. I'm going to train him. And they're like, all right, fine, but only because we might think he's the chosen one. Mm-hmm. Whereas these guys, I guess, don't. Because Yoda's on that council that she spoke to.
Yeah.
So Yoda's like, fuck me, another dyad? We need to stop going to backwater planets. Like, we just keep finding forced dyads
blow them
on
up from space.
Palpatine was right. Death Star is the way to go.
The only real extra thing that you see afterwards is they're back on the ship and we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for this quick news update. The man has now kidnapped one of those children and has it on his weird flying spaceship. Sol and Indara are kind of like just like grumpy at each other and are like, what are we going to say? We're going to say the truth.
And then it just ends with him saying, your sister burnt down everything. Sorry, kid.
Yeah.
And we don't see any of May, so we still don't know why she woke up at the Bunta Tree or how she did her whole life, basically. And we still have no more answers on Khmer or where he came from. Mm-hmm. Which
would have been way more interesting. In terms of flashback episodes, it should have gone in rankings. Khmer flashback, May flashback, Sol flashback, I guess.
That's my main problem with this episode, is that we didn't really answer any of the important questions. We already knew the Jedi did something bad. It didn't really matter what they did, but now all we know is that they stabbed Anastasia and that they wanted to kidnap the kid. So if anything, we like Sol less now, but...
Because it's a bit creepy.
Yeah, not because of the choice he made where he chose to sacrifice one kid to save the other. He's not Will Smith and iRobot. He's creepy. Yeah, we just don't like him now because he's a creepy man.
in the last episodes where they've showed both characters, they've made Sol seem worse and they've made Kumir seem better.
I don't think they've made. I think they think they've made Kumir seem better.
I think they think they've made Kumir seem better.
What they want,
just with how they're making him act and like the lines they're giving him.
The morality swap was always going to happen. Like even from episode 1, everyone's like, okay, the Jedi are going to be bad and Darth Milo is going to be the good guy from a certain point of view. But I don't think they succeeded because he just spouted pseudo bullshit. So yes, that's what they want to do, but they didn't actually do that. But how do you rate the episode overall? Like,
should have been a better flashback. 2 out of 10. It gets a point for cool lightsaber Wookiee fight and a point for credit music.
I think it was completely stupid. I don't think we should have episode 3. Episode 3 only exists to create a dumb mystery because I don't think this episode answered any of those questions enough that this couldn't have been 3. Episode
3 should have just been 1.5 times the length that it is right now and should have just shown a bit of everything all together.
But then they wouldn't have a show because we wouldn't have the mystery.
But we didn't get any mysteries.
That's the thing. Yeah, they didn't answer any real questions. So I kind of have the exact same amount of questions about like who Smilo is and who May is. So they could have had that be the engaging thing from episode 3, but instead we've been asking, oh, what was the bad thing the Jedi did? Like there was no gray area there. Like we knew what was going to happen. We just didn't know the specifics. So it was just kind of a boring series of questions. But then we get the best part of the episode, the pop music credit song.
Regular normal music.
But worse than that because it relates CW. It relates to the show.
Yes, it's like a song purposely written for this.
Yes, and the lyrics are it's called The Power of Two for one, and then it's singing about twin flames, and if I get called your name, that upsets me, and that's what happens in this. And it kind of epitomizes how CW crap this is, because in the CW, if a character is sad because their wife left them, you have to have a song saying, since my wife left me, I've been so sad, but with pop music because it's better. And then that's just what the ending is. It's so bad. If it played during the episode, I would have flipped the tably. Like, that would have been abysmal, but the credits is almost just as bad.
It's just weird. It's so not Star Wars.
It just shows what it is. Yeah. It's exactly not Star Wars.
They were like, let's have someone write a song for this episode. Oh, like John Williams or something? No.
Find me a woman.
Find me the 2024 Kids Teen Choice Award New Emerging Artist of the Year. At least next episode's going to look better in comparison to this.
No, because I think next episode's going to end on a cliffhanger and they're going to rely on season 2. I don't think we're getting any answers. Considering how little this gave us in 44 minutes, there's no way the next one is much longer and gives much more.
Let us know which flashback episode was better.